Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Al. I'm one of the Democratic candidates for delegate for District 17. I thought it would be fun to share with you some of my endorsements for the Democratic primary, this time focusing on the County Council. For many of the other positions, I already put up a video, and I'll include a link to that in the description below. For this, it took me quite a long time to decide. There are 33 great candidates, but only 4 positions. And so it took a lot of time going through all of their material and trying to figure out who I think would be the best. I realize a lot of people have probably voted already, and or they've made up their minds. But for what it's worth, let me share with you my who I'm going to be voting for. So let's get started. For county executive, and this was in the previous video, I'm going for Rose Krasnow. Just briefly, she is the candidate with the most experience. I believe that she knows what she's doing, and she'll be able to get down to business on day one. As an honorable mention, David Blair would be my second choice if you're not interested in Ms. Krasnow. Contrary to all the hysteria about all of the millions that he's spending on the campaign, I feel that he is a very credible choice. He has a great economic vision for the county. My only concern for him is that this would be his first political office, and I'm also running for office for the first time. That's not shouldn't exclude people, but for a position as important as county executive, I feel that we need someone who has a little bit more experience, and that's really the only reason why I feel Ms. Krasnow would be a better fit. But these are my choices for county executive. For the county council, I live in District 3, and I wholeheartedly support Mr. Sidney Katz. He's been very level-headed, very pragmatic, an excellent, common sense figure on the county council. I like his opponent as well. He had a very cute, very fun to watch video where he talks about how he puts his cell phone number on all of his material and encourages potential voters to talk to him, and I felt that was very cool. But in terms of who I'm going to be supporting, I think Sidney Katz is the experienced candidate. I like what he's done on the council, and I think he should get another term. So that is that's who I'm supporting. So let's go on to county council at large, which again, 33 candidates for 4 positions. I list the 4 that I believe that I will be voting for, sort of in the order that I feel most committed to least committed to, and then I also put up a couple of honorable mentions who if I was able to vote for 5 or 6 people, these would be the next 2 on the list. So let's get started. Mr. Greenberger, Neil Greenberger, terrific candidate, very nice guy. What drew my attention to him and why I'm supporting him is his stance on saying no to any above-inflation property tax rises. If you'll recall, we had a 9% property tax rise not too long ago, and I disagree with that completely. And the great thing is, for any above inflation property tax rises, all 9 members of the county council have to unanimously support that legislation. And so if we have one person on the council who says, listen, no matter what, I'm going to vote no, then that will effectively veto any above inflation property tax rise. So it would, if we're serious about not wanting to raise taxes, if we want to live within our means, then having Mr. Greenberger there will be great, because if taxes do rise above inflation, we know who to blame right away. So I think he's a great candidate. His stances on all the issues are terrific, but this is something in particular that I support him for. Next up is Miss Marilyn Balcombe. What drew my attention to her was her experience as CEO of the Gaithersburg Germantown Chamber of Commerce. I think that she gets it. And looking at her material and listening to her speak, I believe she spoke at the Montgomery College Forum that I was participating in. She really understands that the best way to protect the services that matter to us the most, particularly education, is by growing our tax base, and by doing so through supporting our businesses, through enticing new ones to come in, and making it easier to do business so that people have more jobs, more higher paying jobs, and so that the tax revenue from that can go to funding the services that we need. So Marilyn Balcombe Terrific choice. My second choice for county council at large. Next up is Mr. Seth Grimes. He is a terrific candidate. I also had the chance to speak with him once, and I've gone through a lot of his literature and his Facebook postings. And he's an amazingly committed environmentalist. He really believes in renewable energy. He really believes in protecting the Chesapeake Bay. His stances on environmental issues are I think he's been endorsed by numerous environmental organizations. So he's definitely on the environment. Definitely he has the right ideas and the right stances. And he also supports something that's very close and dear to my heart, a Medicare for All universal health care plan for Maryland. So for these reasons and others, I believe Mr. Seth Grimes deserves your vote. And finally, Mr. Evan Glass, who I also had the chance to speak with briefly. He is an excellent candidate as well. His experience as a former reporter really allows him to ask the tough questions, something that I think we need to have on individuals who are serving on the county council. And he has a lot of progressive values and stances, including a $15 minimum wage for the entire state, and he supports our current $15 minimum wage here in Montgomery County. I believe that he is a terrific candidate, and I think he would do a great job on the council. So Mr. Greenberger, Ms. Balcombe, Mr. Grimes, and Mr. Glass, those are the four that I will be voting for. Honorable mentions, again, as I said, we have a great field. If I had a fifth vote, it would go to Mr. Albornoz. And I was really intrigued by his support for policies that end the opportunity gap for children. I think that's something that is very dear to his heart, and that's something that I definitely support as well. And so I found him to be closely aligned to my views. And then the sixth vote would have gone to Miss Danielle Mative. I hope I'm saying that name correctly. Again, from her stances in flyers and in documents that she's published, she is very much in favor of small and medium-sized businesses, $15 minimum wage. I think she gets it. Basically, we have a fine line that we have to walk between, on the one hand, wanting to support businesses coming in, wanting to support opportunities for economic growth, which will increase our tax base, but at the same time, not doing so at the expense of worker protections. And I think she understands that balance really well. So 2 more names in case the 4 on top you're not convinced for. Here are a couple of others that I think are great choices. And again, you'd be hard pressed to find someone who isn't a good candidate. But in the end, you only have 4 votes, and this is where I feel they would be best placed. So thank you so much for watching. If you agree, if you disagree, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know who you're supporting or who you're interested in learning more about. Like I said, I went through a lot of the documents that these 33 candidates put out. So if there's a specific area that you support and you don't want to go through all the trouble, feel free to ask me, and maybe I can point you towards the candidate who most closely aligns with your views. Thank you so much for watching. This is Dr. Al signing off. I hope I'm signing off. There we go.